Hey everyone, welcome back to the vlog. My name is Brad and I vlog in the name Investing Doc. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about AdvancedMD medical records and why I switched from Practice Fusion. So follow along with me. Practice Fusion used to be the cheapest solution for small practices because it used to be free in around 2016 or 2017. It changed to a subscription model. Practice Fusion is a medical record that is one of the largest used in very small practices because it was free up until about 2016 or 2017. Around that time, they went through a lawsuit, and that lawsuit allegedly claimed that they were basically feeding ads on the screen of opioid and certain prescriptions that then altered prescription habits of physicians. That's beyond the scope of this vlog today. What I'd like to talk about is the medical record and why we decided to switch. There were a couple headaches with Practice Fusion. The very first headache that I'd like to talk about is scheduling. Practice Fusion does have the ability to put scheduling on your website, but if there's one opening, let's say 11:30 on Monday morning, unlimited amount of patients can book that spot until one of your staff members goes on there and hits accept to one of those appointment times. So you could walk in theoretically on Monday morning to 15 no appointments like we frequently did. There used to be an issue where if a patient canceled an appointment, it would open that time spot available. Let's say Saturday night, midnight, one of the patients is like, I don't need that Monday morning appointment at 8 a.m. They go on and cancel. If you don't go online and check your website and scheduling, then Monday morning, when that comes around, all of a sudden you're going to have 20 new appointment requests waiting for you for that one 8 a.m. time spot and a lot of ticked off patients. Now that we switched over to AdvancedMD, scheduling is much better. The other reason we switched away from Practice Fusion was because the messaging on the portal system. Oh my God, the messaging system. There's a new system called Spruce that is a third-party thing that we added onto our website, and that costs about $50 a month per person that's on Spruce. That's what we use to replace our messaging system because the messaging system had no ability to triage messages. What I mean with that is, let's say you're a patient, you want to message Dr. X. You go online, you say, hey, I'm scrolling down Dr. X, I have a question, and it goes directly to Dr. X. There's no way to triage that with a nurse or a prescription refill line or anything like that. It got to the point where I was having 100 messages in my inbox every day on top of seeing 20 patients every day, on top of the urgent phone calls and other issues. It was becoming unsustainable. We eventually had to turn the messaging off, switch to Spruce. Practice Fusion refused to listen to our feedback that this was a huge problem, and they told us that it's not really a priority for them. The other main issues with Practice Fusion is that it became very fragmented. Practice Fusion doesn't do billing, which is called practice management software. When I first started Practice Fusion, there are 3 different companies that they apparently worked very well with. Cario, which is the cheapest, which I ended up going with, AdvancedMD, and CollaborativeMD. With our old system, we had Practice Fusion as our medical record, Cario as the billing. So patients would be getting bills from Cario, and they'd be like, what the hell is Cario? Never heard of this before. And patients would honestly think that it was probably a scam or something. Practice Fusion became so fragmented for us that we eventually had to leave it for something else, which that something else ended up being AdvancedMD. I'd like to take a minute about how we came across AdvancedMD. There's a couple of other very predominant medical records in the community. Athena is probably the biggest one. Many of you who are physicians probably have heard of Athena. Epic is huge, but they're very expensive. You can't get them unless you're huge. There's quite a few others out there that are cheaper. Dr. Chrono, NextGen, CollaborativeMD. There's hundreds of them. Athena claimed to have a lot of proprietary software that would help you out a lot, and we were honestly going to sign with Athena until they told us how much it was going to cost. Athena told us it was going to be 8.99% was their initial offer of any money collected. That includes cash pay patients. After a lot of back and forth, we thought we finally were going to get them to a very, very low amount because we were negotiating right at the end of 2021, thinking maybe they'd want to hit some metric, and the lowest they would come back at is 6.5. That's when we started entertaining other offers, and we stumbled across AdvancedMD. And AdvancedMD has a flat fee. We pay somewhere between $500 and $600 a month per physician that's in our office. Now that includes messaging, that includes the portal, that includes the prescription monitoring program, that includes electronic faxes that are integrated, that also includes the telemedicine visits for free. So here with Practice Fusion, we were paying $50 per month per person to be on Spruce, the messaging platform. We were paying for a telemedicine platform, paying for the billing platform. All things considered, this is all under one house, and it was about $50 more a month than what we were paying with the fragmented way. We decided to go with AdvancedMD, and that was very interesting. Let's say the average physician brings in about $50,000 a month for the practice before any overhead is paid. At 6.5% collections on that money, that's about $3,300 a month is what it would cost per doctor for our practice to have Athena. And sure, they do first pass billing for you and they claim to do real-time eligibility. And whenever you get a fax, they claim that it puts it right into your medical record. So there's a little bit of benefit there. I'm not going to downplay that. But AdvancedMD is doing that for $500 a month. All the proprietary software that Athena claimed that they had above every other medical record out there, it turns out that AdvancedMD did pretty much exactly the same thing. Before I get to the good AdvancedMD, let me just rag on AdvancedMD about the things that I absolutely hate. The very first thing I'd like to rag on them about is anything that you order. Oh my God, if you're ever wondering why your physician's behind, or physicians, if you're ever wondering why the hell am I behind and what is going on here, the ordering system with AdvancedMD is a disaster. There's no other way to put it. We're a primary care outpatient clinic, and we do a lot of annual physicals. You would think that it would be possible, just like Practice Fusion had an ability to have an order set, that you could have an order set with AdvancedMD. That's not really possible. You can have an order set of certain things that you want to order, meaning that you could basically have a CBC, CMP, A1C, the regular annual physical labs. But you have to go, and it's 6 clicks to go to that order set. And it's a little bit convoluted. And even after you put that order set in, there's no way to attach standard diagnosis to that order set. So then you have to go into a different section and attach a diagnosis to each one of those individually every single time. There's also no way to copy forward an old order. Let's say you have a diabetic coming in every 6 months. You want to order the same thing every 6 months. There's no way to copy forward that. You have to basically go back in and create those orders from scratch and individually attach diagnosis codes all over again. We begged AdvancedMD to change this. They wouldn't do it. Also with prescriptions, what an absolute disaster. If you're pulling in a prescription for the new time, it takes at least 11 clicks to prescribe a new medication while pulling in that medicine. If you have a patient that basically has like 10 different medications, that's over 110 clicks to prescribe those medicines to the patient. And on top of the orders for ordering labs or imaging, oh my God, it takes forever. The ordering software for AdvancedMD is pretty much a disaster, and it absolutely sucks. And it's my biggest pet peeve with AdvancedMD. The next thing I'd like to rag on AdvancedMD about is the customization and the onboarding. Everyone knows that when you're getting sold something, they're probably going to overpromise a little bit, but oh my goodness, did AdvancedMD go way too far. Because they integrate with Practice Fusion, they told me that, oh, we've been working with them for 20 years. It's easy to pull your things in from Practice Fusion to AdvancedMD, and you could do it all yourself with something called a bulk upload task. Sounded great. Long story short, none of it's possible. They almost charged us $20,000 to move 12,000 charts from Practice Fusion to AdvancedMD. After a lot of back and forth and arguing, they ended up just uploading the demographics into AdvancedMD, nothing else. There were so many broken promises that they actually fired the sales rep that onboarded us for just constantly telling us and putting in writing completely false information. The other onboarding issue that I have with AdvancedMD is because you can customize everything, and when I say everything, I mean even the font that you want for certain items in your chart, that the onboarding process is basically like, good luck, learn it on your own. It took me hours and days to figure out how to do something, and you basically have to learn how to code or do a little bit of coding in order to set up AdvancedMD. There's definitely no hand-holding, and although you can pay $400 an hour for that hand-holding, definitely wasn't explained to me. Where Practice Fusion, I just put in my credit card, went, everything worked perfectly. Huge learning curve with AdvancedMD, and get ready for lots of frustrations and lots of self-teaching on how to use the EMR, because that was an absolute disaster. All right, that's enough bad with AdvancedMD. No medical record's perfect. I'd like to talk about the good. Like I said, Athena said that they would do 90% first pass billing. They would do it for you. Real-time eligibility. Practice Fusion did not do any of that. They claim to do real-time eligibility. It doesn't work. AdvancedMD's real-time eligibility, it works perfectly. It works almost every single time, and it works in 20 seconds or less. It's awesome. We know exactly when a patient comes in, if the insurance is active, and how much it's going to be for that visit. I love it. Because of that, our first-time pass success rate is over 90%, and my biller doesn't have to spend as much time arguing for money with insurance companies, which is amazing. The other thing that I absolutely love is reputation management. That was an add-on for Practice Fusion, at least $100 a month. And every single time a patient now leaves my clinic, they get a text saying, hey, how was your visit today? If they leave a 4 or 5-star review, it then forwards that to Google and tells them, do you want to also leave this on Google? If it's a 1, 2, or 3-star, it pushes them internally to a website that basically then pings my manager to say, hey, this patient had a complaint and hopefully we can deal with it. The other thing that I love that I didn't think that I would love is that I really like that AdvancedMD sends out a text message after I send in a medication. If a patient calls in requesting a medication refill, now we can tell them you'll get a text message whenever it's approved. Or if it's not approved, we'll then message you. It sends a text message right away saying the name of the medicine, the pharmacy, and expected how much it'll cost. It's actually been really well for our practice. I didn't realize how much I'd like that. All right, then the final thing is cost. Like I said earlier, that Athena was wonderful. It probably is a great EMR, but $3,300 a month versus $500 to $600 a month, there's no contest that AdvancedMD for us works out so much better. There's a lot of headaches when you get to know this EMR, so the learning curve is very steep. You have to be tech savvy, but now that we're up and running with it, I gotta say, I actually really like the medical record. There's just so many things you can do with it, but that's also the downside because there's so many things you can do with it that you have to learn everything. Where's the button? How do I alter this? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. There's a lot more information on my website about this, which I post below. Hope you all have a good day and see y'all next week.